Hello again, everybody. I hope you're all well, and I'm coming from another scorching weekend in the UK. We've had two this year, which truly does mean the world is ending. But before then, I do have a football shirt to show you, and it's a shirt that I don't really think many of you will have ever seen before, let alone heard of the club. So as the seasons slowly start to begin in Europe, I'm updating my website with all of the new teams that sort of appear in the leagues that at least I represent on my website. And in particular, when it came to France, I was adding the new teams that got promoted to the Championnat National, which is the third division in France. And I came across a club who have some very interesting shirts. As I was trying to find their current shirts, though I don't know what they're currently wearing this season, I bumped into their away shirt from 2021, 2022, last season, and I was like, wow, that is a really, really nice shirt. The problem was, they don't actually have an online store, or boutique as it's known in France, which makes it a little bit difficult to buy these shirts. However, luckily, I have a great network of people across the world, and I have a great friend who lives in France. It's somebody who you're probably familiar with before. We've done some content together on this channel here, and he also runs his own YouTube, Amadou Mayo, and of course it's Idris, who you're probably familiar with his content. And if you've not seen some of his content, give it a look. Now, admittedly, it is in French for the most part, but you can still pick up an idea of what's going on. Anyway, I dropped him a message, ultimately with just an image of the shirt, and goes, what do you think about this? Can we try and find this? And his response was simply, who even is that? So that kind of shows you the sort of level of obscurity that we're working with here. Now, he says, I will use my magic and I will try and find one for you. So he contacted the club and tried to convince them to sell them one of their shirts. And it was the end of the season, sort of beginning of the next season, so it's not unsurprising if it was going to be like, well, we don't have any stock left because we're preparing for the coming up season. But also there's a chance that there was going to be some dead stock, and lucky me, there was. And he says, yes, there is one in medium. Shall we go for it? And you know what? These opportunities don't come up too often. Let's go for it. It arrived, and there was only one slight difference to what I was expecting. So obviously I was looking to buy it brand new so I can add it to my collection of shirts here. Problem is, this team is technically an amateur team, and amateur teams I've had plenty of experience with don't generally have shirts that are sort of brand new. They don't typically sell them necessarily to their fans. They have them, but it's a little bit more difficult to acquire them, hence the reason why they don't even have an online store. This one arrived not as brand new with tags, but as a match prepared, match issued, possibly match worn. I don't know if he was able to determine whether or not that was the case, but it certainly is prepared for that instance. And I had to make a decision, and I thought, well, it's not quite what I was expecting, but it is very, very cool. The shirt design is amazing. When you see it, you'll think, yes, I understand why Dan's gone for that. And you know what? I thought, let's just go for it. I'll make the purchase. So I bought it. I think everything in total was about €75. He was generous and gracious to suggest a free shipping from France to the UK, which I'm very grateful for. And I will return the favour if he so needs it for me to sell him something from the UK to France. And here it is. It's arrived here. It's pretty prompt, the post. I think it maybe took 3 or 4 days to arrive. So I've actually not seen an image of the shirt in real life. It just sort of has arrived. So let's just hope it is the shirt that I sent the image of. And I'm just really cool to see what it is. I really hope it is as good as it looked like online. So let's just see what's inside. It should be, hopefully, he said it was a medium. So let's see if it is a medium. Oh. Okay. Anything else? No, I don't think so. Okay then, so it's definitely pink, which is always a good start, isn't it? So let's start with the rear of the shirt because it's not as crazy on the back there. So it is pink, and there is a number 4 on the back of that one, which is, well, that's the person that would have been wearing the shirt. Number 4, you kind of expect that to be a defender, wouldn't you? I guess I'll have to do some research and figure out what player, possibly who wore this. I know sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to find squad numbers for lower league teams, but I'll do my best. And of course, you've got some sponsors there. These are all sort of transferred on. Now, you do have some trims there, which are gold, which is nice. Gold is also a good colour. But once I turn it around, this is where the real party begins. How about that for a very striking image there? How about that? Now, this is a pattern that I think possibly a team in Spain used, I want to say, Ponferradina. Did they use it on one of their away shirts? I think it was like blue and gold also. And I was like, ooh, I want to buy that one. Didn't. So I'm kind of pleased that at least I have one version of it, and the fact that it's pink and black is really, really good. So you've got the sponsors on the front there, which have been transferred. Got the club crest. If you can recognise the club, well done, because I'd never heard of it until seeing them from my website. And then you have the patch there. If you recognise what particular league that would have been, well, obviously I've kind of given it away when I mentioned that they got promoted. So this is the Championnat National 2, which is their 4th division in France there. But how about that, eh? Match issued at the very least. But it's really cool. So I'll dress the mannequin and I'll do a little bit of research on possibly the player, and then I'll come and explain to you a little bit more about the club and the shirt itself. Okay then, there is a shirt, and I'm so pleased with this. This is a great purchase. And in fact, I can't wait to wear this. I'm going to be wearing this so often. If you see me out and about, I'm going to be probably the only guy wearing this one floating around. It is match issued, prepared, whatever, but it's not like Chelsea or anything like that, so I'm not too bothered about keeping it perfect condition. But the question is, who is the club? And obviously I mentioned it is a French team, and they do have the most French sounding name, and my pronunciations are not great in French, but I'm going to give it a go. It's Le Puy Foot contre Avignon, something to that effect. That's what it says on Wikipedia anyway. It's very, very French. And they come from Le Puy-en-Velay, which is a place in Avignon, which I believe is sort of central France. That's what I gathered from when I was looking online. And they were founded in 1903, so they're quite an old team as AS Le Puy. And they've had many, many, many different names, as you kind of expect these teams to be sort of taken over, merged, disbanded, I don't know, and then they just sort of, this is where they're at now, and I suspect probably in the future they'll end up with something slightly different. So it's kind of cool just to have at least a moment in this history here. And they've never really had much success. The fact that they're still amateur kind of suggests that. I think possibly they had a brief stint in the 2nd division at some point in history, but most of the time they sort of are 3rd, 4th division sort of team, which is kind of cool. It's not often you're going to see one of these knocking around in the UK. So they finished top of their group last season, which is why I have that patch on there. And I believe I looked at quickly, the season has begun in France, and they did lose their first game. So it's, as you'd expect, going to be quite a difficult season for them. Are they going to get relegated? Probably, maybe, but, who cares? They have some great shirts. Now, as I was going through updating the archive of this particular team, I noticed that their away shirts, this is an away shirt, by the way, their home shirts, so generally they play in sort of a lighter blue. Not quite as exciting design, I must admit. They typically wear pink for their away shirts, which, as you can imagine, I can definitely get behind that, which is nice. It's not often you see a club continuously wear pink, and to be honest, looking at all of the previous 2 or 3 seasons worth of pink shirts, any of those to add to my collection would have been great additions. It's templates that you're quite familiar with Adidas releasing. I've not been able to find what they're currently wearing this season. It's a little bit more difficult. You kind of just have to go on like social media websites and just sort of grab images from sort of match days and stuff like that. Or it's even possible that they might have just carried across, which can happen at certain levels in certain countries. Now, with regards to the number on the back, number 4, I can find who's number 4 this season, which is Yassine Saber or something like that. However, I believe he's just joined the club, so he wouldn't have been able to have been wearing this one because he was elsewhere. And then when I try and find the squad numbers from last season, I can't really find anything. I looked on Transfermarkt, but they didn't have number 4 registered. They only had like 7 numbers, and everybody else was just sort of question marks and blanks. So if anybody knows number 4, let me know, because, I've got your shirt. Thank you for letting me have this shirt. And the fact there's no name on the back kind of, maybe suggests that they possibly sort of shared shirts. I know that can happen. Certainly happened previously in sort of other countries. So who knows? At the very least, I'm going to be sharing it also. But it's just really cool. I just really like the fact that these are all just sort of here, transferred on. That's embroidered. This being central is a bit of annoying. I'd rather it be there, as you well know. Got your little sponsor on the side there, and it has these sort of little vents on the sleeves, which is really useful on a day like this because it's so warm. And maybe I'd like a little bit more, maybe just sort of in the body of the shirt, but you can't expect them to be wearing sort of super authentic shirts because, they don't really have the money or funds, I would suspect. But it's just got the little gold trims it's just a nice shirt, and it's just one of those ones where I'm going to be able to wear it out and about. Because I did need a few shirts that I could wear. It was getting a little bit boring wearing the same Lechia Gdansk shirt, strongest shirt. So, that's just an addition. So, yeah, 2 sort of match-worn shirts in the sort of last few weeks, I guess. We're slowly working our way up. We've gone from Estonian 2nd Division to French 4th Division. I guess this is when it was worn. Where are we going to go next? I'm not really looking to buy them, but, if they appear, I shall accept graciously. So, I just need to finish off by saying once again, thank you to Idris for helping me out to source this shirt. I suspect it definitely wasn't easy. So, big respect, and send him his love. Go to his YouTube channel, go to his Instagram channel, and just sort of say hello. But that's it. That is the end of the video. As always, thank you for enjoying these videos and these content, subscribes, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one with, I'm not sure what content it's going to be. Maybe another review. Who knows? Anyway, goodbye.